Hello, my darling true crime angels. You made it. It's Websleuths YouTube Live. My name is Trisha Griffith. I'm glad that you're here. My apologies for being a little late, but first I need to tell you that I am tickled pink. I mean, I literally go around tickled because I'm so thrilled to have the honor of being the manager of Websleuths.com. This is truly the best true crime discussion forum that's ever been out there. Now, the beginning of the internet, there was a bazillion true crime discussion forums. There wasn't Facebook or YouTube. It was just, Reddit and a whole bunch of others. And Websleuths was in that pack. But over the years, the others have just kind of fallen off. Websleuths has stayed strong because we don't deal in rumors. We don't deal in drama. We deal in facts, ideas, and thinking outside the box. So check out www.websleuths.com for the very best true crime discussion forum in the universe. In a minute, we're going to bring up Megan Connor, and also Lynn Gen 2 is substituting for Stacy tonight. Her internet went down. I am assuming it has to do with Chad Daybell and his magical powers. That's the only logical explanation I have for that. So, but, today I've been thinking a lot about betrayal. There's something that I'm going to be telling you about sometime, hopefully sooner rather than later. And it has to do with a major betrayal of somebody that I know and love. And they didn't betray me. No. They were horribly betrayed. And it's something that I have discovered. And I had to do a lot of things with that information today. And I can't think of anything more disappointing than thinking that you know somebody and you find out that they're just a monster, that they are not the kind, loving person that you thought they were, that they hurt people, that they lie, and that they're greedy. And you know what? That fits Donna Adelson. I'm sure when Dan Markel married into the family, married Wendi, he never thought that these people were monsters. He never thought he'd be betrayed to the point of being murdered. I'm sure he didn't. I am sure that Donna, his mother-in-law, Big Momma, as I like to call her, had a strong personality, but as he went along, and they had children together, he and his wife, and he started to see what this family was really like. I can't imagine the betrayal he felt. He fell in love with this woman. He believed in her and trusted her. And then he has the mother-in-law from hell, who I'm sure presented a wonderful front at the very beginning. I'm sure she presents a wonderful, happy family of, look how good we are. We are the best. The Adelsons are the best. Donna, her husband, her kids, they are wonderful. And I'm sure Dan Markel thought he was getting into a wonderful family. I can't imagine the betrayal he felt. And you have to wonder, when he was shot, did he have an awareness before he passed away, even if it was just briefly, that, oh my God, this is from the family? Did he know? Did he know that he received the ultimate betrayal? We'll never know. Tonight, I have two of my favorite people here. Lynn Gen 2 is filling in for Stacy, and Megan Connor from Third_Verse. And Megan, the day that CrimeCon started, or the day that we flew in to Denver for CrimeCon, was the day of closing arguments in the Adelson case. So Megan did a little bit, but she had this wonderful event planned for the closing and for when they came back with a guilty verdict. Well, they came back with a guilty verdict, I think, when she was in the air. So tonight, we mentioned last week that, hey, why don't we just revisit the Adelson closing arguments, Megan, and you can present everything that you wanted to present earlier, and we'll just have fun with it. Now, it's not a fun topic. I'm not suggesting that the murder is fun, but what's fun is seeing Donna Adelson get hers. I'm sorry. I love that. That made me happy. And then to have Megan Connor here talking about it and giving her amazing insight into everything is truly a treat. Megan, how are you doing, darling?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great. Let me bring Lynn Jen 2 up here. Hello, my dear. How are you?
Yeah, it's doing well. How are you this evening?
I'm doing great. I appreciate you filling in so quickly. Yeah, Stacy, all of a sudden her internet went down, and I thought, well, she can use her phone, but her phone service isn't even strong enough. And Megan, it's just got to be Chad and his magical powers somehow going in there and just sucking the life out of her internet. That's the only logical scientific explanation. So anyway, Megan, tell us what happened, like with CrimeCon and closing arguments, and what you were able to do and what you weren't able to do that day.
Yeah, so it's great to be here with you both. First of all, thank you so much for having me. I always appreciate being here with you and your mad chatters.
Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful human beings.
Yes.
So we were on verdict watch, and I was starting to go through the closing statements, and I like to do a recap of the day that's a little more concise. So that those people who don't have the time or the inclination to watch an entire day of trial, by the way, I love your mug. Where did you get that? It's lovely. Oh, you're muted.
You're muted, Trisha.
Sorry, you're muted.
I knew that. I was just testing to see if you guys knew that.
Right.
Deliberating.
Testing, as always.
I said, this was given to me by a woman of wonderful taste. And it says, "Are you done?" And Megan presented this to me the night that we got to CrimeCon. So thank you, Megan. I use it every night. This is my mug for my live stream. So this is from Lori's trial. And the judge said many a wonderful thing that could be made into many mugs. But "Are you done?" I think is one of my favorite. And we'll revisit that probably at the end of the year, too. Because that was just, again, you just wanted to stand up and cheer when the judge said that to Lori Vallow Daybell. It was the best. I know.
Judge Garicia is one of my heroes. And
absolutely is.
Yeah, that "Are you done?" was one of my favorite moments. I still have it saved as one of my favorite videos.
Well, we will definitely. Go ahead.
No, so I was just going to say, we were on verdict watch for the Donna Adelson trial on my channel. When I was starting to go through the closing statements of Jackie Fulford, who is not my favorite person. I really do not appreciate her. I really do not like her style or anything that she had to present. And as I was going through the things that she was saying in her closing statement, people started texting me and calling me, and my phone was blowing up that the verdict was in. And I was shocked because it was such a short time frame. And also, I had a plane to catch to go to Denver for CrimeCon. So, I was totally blindsided. I said, I'm going to do all these things to get myself ready to go out of town. And then I'm going to do a live at 5:30 Central Time to just recap what happened today. And in the middle of that live, we had a verdict. And so I was completely unprepared for that to happen. And I never got to really finish, my analysis of Jackie Fulford's closing statements because, gosh, it was just such a whirlwind. The verdict came back. Everybody was in the courtroom. It was read very quickly. Very quickly, there was the reaction and all of that. And we were done. So, I mean, and then I got on my plane and I did not miss my plane because it was delayed. So
thank goodness.
There was a little bit of a blessing there. And then I got to CrimeCon. And then we had a whole bunch of stuff from CrimeCon to talk about and react to and unpack. And I never really got to finish my analysis of Jackie Fulford's closing statements. So you and I have talked about this before, just that there was so much to talk about there that we haven't yet gotten to unpack.
And so that's what we're going to do tonight. And as Tiff Knox reminds us, Jackie Fulford, attorney and funeral home proprietor. And Was she a former judge, right?
She was a former judge,
Mm-hmm.
and there were some scandalous accusations coming out. They were going to remove her from her judgeship when she suddenly revealed that she had a cancer diagnosis. Now,
Right.
some people will posit that that was a fake cancer diagnosis.
Sure.
I don't
Mhm.
know whether that's true or not. I do not know. But what I do know is that if she had not had that cancer diagnosis and chosen to step down, that she would have been removed from her judge appointment.
Right.
So,
Exactly. So there you go. That's the best way to start this off. Now I'm going to bring up a video here, and I take it you have it queued up, ready to go.
yeah, so this is just me being really snarky. I'm sorry, you guys.
I love it. I
When
love it.
when I have been sitting through a trial for day after day and listening to BS from, the defense side trying to defend the indefensible,
Mm-hmm.
I get really cynical and I get really snarky. And so this was the moment that I said, Jackie Fulford, in her defense of Donna Adelson, she had one moment of true profound clarity, and this was it.
Okay. Do I have to start it or you?
Oh, do I have to play it? Maybe I have to play it.
I think you have to play it.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Okay.
Take that evening when they leave their home.
Oh, wait, sorry. I always do everything on 2x speed, so I have to go back to normal. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Wait. Sorry.
What? Wait, did I just hear her go,
She sounded desperate. She sounded angry. But I'm gonna play one part that I think was the most profound thing that she said. Let me see if I can find it for you. And then I do have to get going, so I'm wrapping this up, guys. Don't worry. You're not gonna have to listen to much of Jackie Fulford. My apologies for the seeking.
Oh, this is great. No, I love this. See, I never had a chance to see this, so this is wonderful.
Take that evening when they leave their home.
That was it.
Okay.
That was the most
that
profound
really
thing she said.
her?
You want to hear it again?
Yeah, I mean, that was really her, right?
Where it
That was really her.
6:15, 10.
Okay.
Take that evening when they leave their home.
Yep, that was it right there. You want to hear it one more time? Sorry, I was feeling very snarky by the time I had to listen to her for this long.
Take that evening when they leave their home.
Very, very profound, Jackie. Thank you so much for that. I will. I'm sorry.
I love that. I love that.
I'm impressed. Her sense of her style, her choice of words,
her panache, her ability to be classy.
Yeah, and so I learned this just very recently, a few years ago, from another attorney. If you don't have the facts on your side, pound the evidence. If you don't have the evidence on your side, pound the law. If you have neither the facts or the law, pound the table. And that's literally what Jackie Fulford did. She literally pounded the table over and over as she was giving these closing statements. She was at times incoherent. She was at times disrespectful. She constantly referred to Dan Markel, which, by the way, happy birthday to Dan Markel. Today would have been his birthday.
How old? Do you know how old he would have been?
I don't, unfortunately.
Was it 57, 55, 57?
Oh, that's so unfair.
Somewhere in there.
He's a little bit older than me. But yeah, I mean, today would have been his birthday. But her closing statement, like she didn't have the facts on her side. She didn't have the evidence on her side. And so she consistently, literally pounded the table. And she tried to say things like, the defense, we were the only people that said anything positive about Dan Markel. She constantly referred to the victim as Danny. That was so disrespectful in my mind, because I was thinking, it's Dan Markel. You know, only Wendi talked about him as Danny, or the defense attorney to refer to him as Danny instead of Professor Dan Markel, Professor Markel, Mr. Markel. That's usually how respectful attorneys refer to the victim. It made me really sick that she did that over and over. And then she completely threw her client under the bus by saying that, yeah, my client was rude. She was disrespectful. She called him all these names. I mean, it was an unhinged closing statement from my standpoint. And she referred to the events of that actual day in such a detailed way that I thought was really it was a bad move. Mm-hmm. If you're a defense attorney, you're trying to distance your client from the events. You do not want to detail the events and how horrific they were and how terrible they were.
Right.
Because you don't want the jury thinking about that. You want the jury thinking about the fact that your client wasn't involved. Mm-hmm. But she made a conscious choice to, rehash the events of that day and talk about how horrific they were. And I thought that was a terrible move on her part. So all in all, I thought Jackie Fulford did a terrible job representing her client. And honestly, I think she made things a lot worse for Donna. Mm-hmm. And then the fact that, they deliberated for such a short time is kind of testament to the fact that, like, you just can't avoid all of the evidence that was presented.
So what are we going to hear next? Are we going to hear more pounding of the table, or what do you want to play? Because I'm loving this. I'm loving this. This is great. This is so cathartic. It is.
So the next point is just where she really, she brought up all of the dirty names that Donna called Dan Markel.
Why would she do that?
I mean, your guess is as good as mine.
Good Lord.
But basically what she was trying to say is that, like, yes, my client was a terrible human being.
Exactly.
She called this victim lots of terrible, horrible names, and there's no excuse for it.
This is unbelievable.
I'm sorry, what?
I got it. You know what? I did not have a chance to hear this, so this is going to be new to me. So let's hear this.
Okay, so I have timestamps. I think I have the wrong video though.
I just found something on Websleuths. It says Donna Adelson faces sentencing on Monday.
Yes.
So she's now, will she be able to make a statement?
I don't know. I mean, we know that obviously Lori got to make a sentencing statement. There should be some more victim impact statements. They allowed the Markels to make their victim impact statements just before verdict because they live in Canada, may not be able to come back. So I don't know exactly what to expect for Monday, but I do know there will be a sentencing. The minimum is that she's going to get life without parole.
That's the minimum. Great.
Yes.
Megan,
but there will be possibly aggravating factors as well.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead, my dear.
Can Donna Adelson use this as a misrepresentation of counsel and file an appeal?
Well, she already did ask for a new trial, and that was, rejected.
And that was the one that was rejected, so she can't.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, she can, obviously, there are always going to be appeals. They're always going to try to get whatever they can out of the appeals, but I don't think there are any legal grounds that are going to support the idea of an appeal or an overturned conviction or anything like that.
Okay.
Yeah, and everybody in chat is saying, yeah, Donna will be asked by the judge if she would like to make a statement. I will be shocked if she doesn't, because she's a drama person.
Yes, but at the same time, I mean, she declined to testify.
Well, that's true.
And
that's true.
That really would have been her opportunity to, to tell her side of the story. Although if she testified, she would have been subject to cross-examination. And so, there is probably the reason why she chose not to testify is because she didn't want to be subject to that. So she can make a statement at her sentencing, which will not be subject to cross-examination. Like, that's her opportunity to tell her story without any pushback. And I would think, I don't think she would pass that up.
Yeah, I will be shocked if she doesn't make a statement. But I didn't realize her sentencing was on Monday, so it's around the corner. That's going to be a big one. So, okay, so what are we going to hear next, my dear?
So this is going to be all the horrible names that Donna Adelson called Dan Markel. And I just want to say again, throughout this time, Jackie Fulford refers to Dan Markel as Danny, which I think is really disrespectful.
It is. Because
it's the familiar name. It's the name that Wendi might have called him, but it's not the name. I mean, when you're an attorney and you're in open court, you're going to refer to everyone as Mr. or Mrs.
Sure.
Especially you're going to refer to the victim as Mr. Markel.
Mm-hmm.
She refers to him as Danny all the time, which I think maybe she believes is a way for her to, I don't know, be familiar with the jury,
right,
or familiar with the public, but it comes across to me as disrespectful. So I just think, I wish that she would not say Danny. I wish that she would say Mr. Markel.
But she's not. That video disappeared. Are you bringing up another one?
Yes.
Okay, great. Here, let me pull it up here. There we go.
Okay. So this is when she brings up all the names that Donna Adelson referred to Dan Markel.
It's crazy.
What she did. And the state has put them in. State Exhibit 64. And they have emails going up through July the 11th of 2014.
By the way, I should give a language warning. There are going to be some swear words.
Is there any way to turn it up, or is she talking away from the microphone?
Danny Markel.
She's talking away from the mic.
Okay.
Where her daughter is constantly venting to her about what she says Danny is doing. She said some really bad names, and I'm going to say them, although you shouldn't say bad words in court. She called him some ugly stuff. The first one that they wanted to put in was from 2011. He was killed in 2014. They introduced this email from March the 28th of 2011 at 64A, and inside that email, they claim shows the hatred for Danny Markel. And you want to know why? According to their exhibit list here, because Mrs. Adelson referred to Danny's parents as, quote, the royal couple. And she and Wendi were bantering back and forth about some issues with Mr. Markel's parents. That's not hatred on Danny. It's not even hatred on his parents. We're sitting here with murder charges because she did something like that, called somebody a royal couple. She said other bad things. She called Danny a major fucker, Jibbers, which Wendi Adelson testified that she came up with that nickname for him, a religious zealot, and Wendi testified that the issues in their marriage included matters of he had now become more strict in their religion than she wanted to follow. That was one of their problems. She called him a royal jackass, a piece of shit, a fucker, crazy, a bastard, and she called him Elvis. That's why we are sitting here today.
Okay, so I'm just asking myself,
Okay.
as like, you know, trying to put myself in the position of a juror or someone sitting in the courtroom hearing this for the first time. Why in the world would the defense attorney throw their client under the bus by bringing out all of the terrible names that they called the victim? Why would you do that?
I have no answer other than, well, no, I don't have an answer. There is no answer other than her brain is, you know, mush, and she doesn't know what she's doing.
And by the way, this is Dan Markel's mother that you see in the sunglasses here.
Okay.
She was in court every single day. There were many days she appeared without sunglasses, but obviously on the days she was more emotional, she was wearing sunglasses.
Sure.
I cannot understand why Donna Adelson's attorney would think that it was appropriate for her to not only admit all of the terrible names that she called Dan Markel, but to say, basically, there's no evidence that my client was involved, except that she called the victim these terrible names. Obviously, there's a lot of evidence that she was involved.
Otherwise, they wouldn't have been able to bring it to trial, you know,
Right.
unless they had some hardcore evidence. And again, just by bringing these names up, it just makes her look like the monster that she truly is.
Exactly.
Good
So
Lord.
let's go on just for a little bit longer
Okay.
here.
That is hatred for somebody. That proves they wanted to have him killed. Are you serious? You call somebody some bad names and that means you wanted them dead? My client has lack of any ability to stop herself from saying things. She can't do it. And I'm not trying to be offensive to her, but she can't. And all of these emails that they have introduced prove it. She is not a one-word person. She goes on and on and on and on. And they believe that she had Danny Markel murdered because she said some bad words. There's not a lick of evidence in here that they submitted of what she did prior to July the 18th, 2014, where she said not a single word, that she wanted him killed. She was planning to have him killed. She was going to find somebody to kill him. She was going to pay somebody to kill him. She was going to kill him. That she was glad he was dead. That's not in here. And this is it. This is it. Before he was killed. You're judging her conduct before he died, up to his death. And that's all you've got. And I told you that in the opening statement. They have.
Yeah, so I mean, this is what is so offensive to me, is that, you know, Jackie Fulford is basically saying that, yeah, Donna called him a bunch of bad names, but that's the only evidence that you have that she was against my client or, you know, against the victim. Mm-hmm. You know, she's trying to dismiss all of the evidence where Donna was coercing Wendi in the divorce, right, where she was communicating with her son, Charlie, in, you know, orchestrating this whole thing. So it really makes me angry that Jackie Fulford is basically trying to say, yeah, my client was mean. She was horrible. She called him all these bad names, but there's no other evidence that she was involved in this, which is a dismissal of the truth.
Well, it's a misrepresentation. It's a lie.
Yeah.
Is what it is. It's an absolute lie.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So there are a couple of other places. I don't know how much time you want to spend on this or how many examples you want to see.
It's whatever you want to do, my dear. We've got, you know, lots of time. We're good. And you do want to play the rebuttal from the prosecution, right? And how long is that?
Definitely. I mean, it's only about, I think, 8 minutes or so.
Oh, is that? Oh, hell, we can play the whole thing. We got time. Sure. Let's get this all out here, because the sentencing is Monday and we need to refresh our memory. And of course, listening to your comments about it just tickles me. It makes me happy. Makes me happy when you're snarky. It really does. I love it. Absolutely love it.
Well, you know, I try to be fair. I really do try to be fair because, you know, when defense counsel makes a fair point, I want to say, okay, that's a fair point. Also, when defense counsel misses an opportunity, I want to say that too. I want to say, like, look, if you really wanted to defend this client well, you could have made this point And that would have made sense to the jury. I just think Jackie Fulford is completely oblivious to what the jury might have wanted to hear in this case.
Can I ask a quick question?
Of course.
How did Donna end up with her? I mean, is she, I think she's well known, but not for any good reason. Was she cheap? I mean, do you have any idea how she ended up as her defense attorney?
That's a great question. And one of the reasons is that Donna actually wanted to have the same defense attorney as Charlie Adelson in his trial. But Charlie was being called as a witness. And so there was a conflict of interest there where Charlie was going to have to sign off to say, hey, it's okay if my mom has this person as their attorney because I may have to testify. There was that conflict of interest. Well, apparently Charlie only gave verbal affirmation that that was okay. He had to give written confirmation that was okay. He never did that. And so they had to dismiss that attorney. Donna was not allowed to use him.
So she had to try and find somebody.
She had to find somebody else. You know, Jackie Fulford is a well-known person in Florida law because of her judgeship, but again, kind of a problematic person for the same reason. So, I mean, I don't know exactly how Donna ended up hiring her, but, you know, we can also reasonably assume that people who kind of run in the same circles, who kind of have the same connections, who, you know, this affluent aspect of the Florida retirement community, they probably all know each other. They talk to each other. They recommend each other. Like it's a very enmeshed system there.
Exactly. And before we go any further, she's escaped from the clutches of Chad Daybell's portal. Please, everybody, welcome Stacy, our executive producer. How's it going? Is your phone okay? What's the deal?
Oh my God, I had sheer panic earlier. So my phone wasn't working. All the service bars were gone, completely gone.
No.
And earlier my Siri was going off by herself. It was really weird. So I reset my phone. It still wasn't working. So I went to my neighbors. I started to panic because then our Wi-Fi wasn't working. So I went to my neighbors, used theirs. I did email you earlier, panicking.
I didn't check my email till right before the show. So
yeah, and then finally my husband and his phone was working, but mine wasn't. But the Wi-Fi came back. So
yay! Okay. Well, Lynn Gen 2, stay here because I can always use two people to do the work, and that way I can take all the credit for it. So that's good. That's good. Okay. Well, so we're going to hear more from Jackie Fulford, the possibly one of the worst defense attorneys since I don't know when. I'm trying to think if there's ever. She's just a terrible defense attorney, but who knows? You know, maybe there at some point has done well in other cases. We don't know. But again, the goal here is to hear Megan's snark because it is classic and it is priceless.
Well, Jackie Fulford makes a lot of mistakes, in my opinion. And again, I'm not an attorney. I'm not trained in the law. But for my money, if you're going to defend somebody in a murder case, you probably don't want to go into great detail about what the victim experienced because you don't want the jury focused on that. You want the jury focused on the fact that your client was so far removed from that, didn't have anything to do with that.
Exactly.
Anyway, Jackie did not do a great job of that. There was another point where Jackie said that Donna was a meddler, but not a murderer. And I don't know if she was trying to use alliteration or if she was trying to just...
I think she's just trying to be cutesy.
Be cutesy, yeah, maybe.
There was some argument from the state about some things that were in Mrs. Adelson's planner in 2023 around the time that Charlie Adelson was convicted, and they apparently were going to flee the country. take flight to a non-extradition country. And there's a notation in there shortly after Charlie is convicted that says cancel disability insurance. They want you to take what they believe that means as they were canceling their insurance because they were going away and never coming back. Could it be? Those were the words that were used. This is not a could it be situation. This is beyond a reasonable doubt. They have nothing other than that notation. Well, could it be that Charlie was convicted and he no longer needed disability insurance because he was going to prison for life? Just as likely. How about this? Could it be? Could it be in State's Exhibit 142 on the front page that they showed you, there's this little notation, notify everyone who was invited to the 70th birthday that party is off if that's what HK decides to do. And that's on June the 13th. Could it be, the state says to you, that if the killing had actually taken place the first time the killers came up, then they'd be canceling the party because Danny would already be dead? What? Does that, where's the proof of any of this? Could that be what it means? This is not, could it be? And a birthday present, the birthday present, according to the state, for a 70-year-old man is that they're going to have Danny Markel killed. Happy birthday. Let's have a party. What? There's no birthday present, according to Rob Adelson. Wendi Adelson, who was at the party and who was involved, and there are emails that tell this, involved in helping get a caterer for the party where the man came and cooked paella out on the balcony for everybody, but that's what Charlie decided to give. But you got to read the worst in every single piece of evidence that they present to you. You have to, because that's the only way you can convict, and they want you to convict her.
So I mean, my whole thing with what she's saying here is where she keeps saying, what? What?
I know. It's ridiculous.
I mean, it's like the state presented this thing. What? It's like, if that's your best argument, it's not a great one.
Mm-hmm.
She's trying to say, like, I can't imagine a world in which this thing is true. What? It's like, if that's your best argument as an attorney, it's kind of like when a salesperson comes to my door and they're like, hey, I have this thing that I really want to sell you. And I'm like, hey, I'm not really interested. And their best sales tactic is to say, come on, ma'am. Come on. Can't you just support me? Come on. Can't you just, and I'm like, what? That's your best argument?
That's your best. Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, is this a defense attorney or is this a teenager trying to make an argument about why they should be allowed to stay out past curfew? Because it's like, what? Well, there's no reason why we shouldn't be able to just acquit this defendant, because what? I mean, I'm sorry. I'm having a hard time.
You know what it reminded me of is a bad comedian too. Like they make a statement and they go, what? Like, it's supposed to be kind of funny and wacky.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow.
I let my dogs out this morning and they peed in the yard. What?
What? Yeah.
What? That's crazy. Like, imagine a world in which the dogs are going to pee in the yard. What? I mean, are you kidding me over here?
It's so true. Oh my God, I'm loving this. I so needed this today. Oh God, this is great. This is great. Please tell me there's more. Please. There's got to be more. Okay, good.
My favorite part is coming up, and I think we've already played this. We already played it on, a different view, but we're going to play it again because I think you're gonna love it.
I've got to hear it. Got to hear it.
This is the most profound thing that Jackie Fulford said during her closing arguments.
Okay.
This is not somebody who's planned for him to be killed. Now, the state has made a pretty big deal about the road trip that the 70-year-old man and 64-year-old woman take that evening when they leave their home.
That was it. Did you get it?
Isn't
I
that
don't know.
isn't that from that horror movie?
The Grudge.
The Grudge. It's The Grudge.
Yes. If
Yes.
you've seen The Grudge,
I do.
that's literally the noise that the
It
Grudge
is.
makes.
When you hear that
And-
noise, you know that there's going to be a murder.
You know, there's gonna be a terrible time.
Oh, my
Yeah.
I mean, maybe we should hear it one more time. I
Oh,
just
we've got to
wanna-
hear it one more
I
time,
want to make
please.
sure.
This is not somebody who's planned
yeah.
for him to be killed. Now, the state has made a pretty big deal about the road trip that the 70-year-old man and 64-year-old woman take that evening when they leave their home.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I feel like I'm being mean girl here, but I can't help it. That's just the worst thing ever. Ever. And anybody in that jury box who has seen The Grudge, I know that's the first thing they thought of. Like, what the hell? She's trying to do The Grudge?
I had a doctor do that to me once in the ER.
He did?
Yeah, I did. I said, okay, you figure it out. I'm going to go get the clot box.
Mhm.
It's like, yes, it's a heart attack.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean,
want that
at
as-
some point, do you not just cut yourself off and say, "I'm not really sure what to say here. Let me figure my stuff out."
or fake a heart attack, or double over in pain, something. But
Or cough, or sneeze, or say,
right,
but
Just-
but not the Grudge, please, not the Grudge.
not The Grudge, and that was The Grudge. Oh my God,
It's
I want
like-
that as my ringtone. I think.
People in chat are saying she's rebooting, spinning.
She is. She's rebooting. That's exactly what that is. If rebooting had a sound, it would be that. That's
Hey,
it.
Josh,
Yeah.
there's a comment that says from Jesse Roblin, C8, says, maybe Donna got a 2-for-1 deal with Jackie for representing her and her future funeral services.
There you go. Because she's going to die in prison, and you got to
You're
have
gonna
a
be my
funeral director.
attorney and also my funeral director.
Yeah.
So it's a
Great
2-for-1
combination.
deal.
I wonder how you do your business cards.
I don't
Attorney
know.
/ funeral director.
Attorney on one side, and you just flip it
You know,
over, and there's
I-
a coffin. I don't know.
That's
We'll
probably
kill
a
you
good
and
idea.
bury you. There
Yeah,
you
there you
go.
go.
Right. Oh. Or, you just invite them into the funeral home. You give them a card that just has your name and phone number, and you say, look, if we get you off, great. If not, we're going to take care of you.
Yeah.
Because, if you get the death penalty, we're also going to make sure that your final needs are taken care of.
That you're comfortable in the afterlife, that your remains are handled. I'll
Free
service
funeral with,
lawyer.
every imprisonment.
There you go. Every death penalty, you get a free cremation. Oh,
Right.
my
And
God.
also, I mean, we also there could be a package deal here because,
Mhm.
we've got Charlie, we've got Donna,
Mhm.
we've got potentially Wendi
Wendi.
coming down the pike. We've got potentially Harvey, maybe
Mhm.
going to receive some, so, 4 for the price of 1, or,
Family
4 for
plan.
the price of 2.
Yeah,
The
there you
family plan, we've got a family plot available. We're going to make sure that all of everybody is taken care of, no matter what.
Yeah. I mean, this is you guys. Here we are making fun of her, and she's got it. I mean, she's wrapped this deal up. She's brilliant, absolutely
Maybe
brilliant.
she does half price acquittals.
There you go. That's
Yeah.
it. Oh my God. Oh my God. This is great. This is great. Is there more of Jackie, or I mean, we can still play as much as you want.
Of course, there's
But
more.
wait, there's more.
But wait, there's more. Just a few of my favorite moments, and I didn't get to, really do this properly. And here's the thing, like it's the whole thing is horrible. My heart goes out to Dan Markel's family, the people who love and care about him, especially his children. I think about them all the time.
Right.
But I don't have any qualms about making fun of the perpetrators. I don't have any qualms about making fun of the people who defend them, because you chose that as a profession.
Exactly.
And you know that the majority of the people that you defend are going to be guilty. Not that I have anything against defense attorneys, because they do play a pivotal role
Absolutely.
in our judicial system.
Mhm.
It's important that defendants get competent counsel. It's important for the appeals process that they get everything that they are entitled to under the
Absolutely.
Constitution. All of that is important. However, I do have to say, if you are an attorney and you choose to represent defendants, you know that you're going to eventually represent some really guilty people. And
Some awful people.
the only thing that you really have to go on is, either the state is the villain, your client is innocent, or you admit that your client has some faults and flaws. They're like, okay, yeah, they're a terrible person, but they didn't do this thing.
Right. Exactly.
In either case, it's a lose-lose scenario, in my opinion, for
You're
a
absolutely right.
attorney. But that's the profession you chose, and so it opens you up to criticism from people who care about the victims in the case.
Absolutely.
And that's what I care about more than anything else.
And I agree. And we all love it when you get snarky with these defense attorneys. We do.
So this next one is something where, now I just have to say, I believe that the jailhouse informants were the heroes in this case, because they had a huge amount to contribute, where Donna Adelson actually solicited these people to give testimony on her behalf. And she even wrote a script out for some of these people to testify.
Unbelievable.
And so this next part that I'm going to play is Jackie Fulford shaming those jailhouse informants.
What?
In a
I
terrible
can hear
way.
this.
Yeah.
When he thought she was a person of interest from the beginning, and then he, according to his testimony, locked in on Donna Adelson, the path didn't lead to Donna Adelson. They tried to build a path with something as flimsy as these emails that they say are the motive for her to have him killed. They made some other mistakes. Rob Adelson calling him to testify was a mistake, because they clearly relied on his evidence, and he testified himself. He wouldn't have the basis to give it. He's never around.
Yeah, so I want to say a thing about this, because Rob Adelson is the one family member who has broken away from this enmeshed family system.
Right.
Who wasn't around is because he chose to distance himself from unhealthy people. And his testimony was pivotal, in my opinion. And Jackie Fulford here is trying to shame him by saying, like, he wasn't really around. He didn't keep in touch with his parents. So what evidence did he have to give? Well, he had plenty to say that was really, really important. And this is just my defense of children who choose to distance themselves from their parents or from their family members because they're unhealthy. That doesn't mean they don't have something valuable to add. Obviously, I'm in that same kind of position, right? I, hadn't been in contact with the world's dumbest defendant for a really long time. But I was able to witness a lot of her behaviors and the way that she grew up and all of that, which I think informed a lot of how she became how she was.
Yes.
I think Rob Adelson's testimony in this case was pivotal. And I'm just going to say, Jackie Fulford shaming him for not being around doesn't mean his information is not valid.
Exactly. Exactly. 100%.
And let's
Agreed.
continue.
Okay.
And then they called Patricia Bird. That's their next mistake.
Okay, so Patricia Bird was one of the jailhouse informants.
Okay.
She claims different ways that Donna was going to buy her some land and a trailer to put on it, a small car to drive, and fix her teeth to testify untruthfully. She said that a white female investigator actually offered her all of those things. But then when it was pointed out to her that the investigator that came to see her was actually an African-American female, oh, it was her that did it.
I'm sorry. Can we just stop and talk about that for a second?
I can't believe what I just heard, but please help me understand.
I mean, can we just, I mean, maybe we should just rewind for a second and just let's take this in what she actually said.
Yeah.
Some other mistakes. Rob Adelson calling him to testify was a mistake because they clearly relied on his evidence, and he testified himself. He wouldn't have the basis to give it. He's never around. And then they called Patricia Bird. That's their next mistake. She claims different ways that Donna was going to buy her some land and a trailer to put on it, a small car to drive, and fix her teeth to testify untruthfully. She said that a white female investigator actually offered her all of those things. But then when it was pointed out to her that the investigator that came to see her was actually an African-American female, oh, it was her that did it.
So Jackie Fulford is basically trying to say here that, you know, the jailhouse informant originally testified that it was a white person that came to her and offered her all of these things in exchange for her testimony. And then when it was pointed out to the informant that it was an African-American, that this person recanted, which never happened, by the way.
Okay, that's what I was wondering. I was saying, this is the first I've ever heard of this. And so she just made this up.
The jailhouse informant never recanted. But what did happen was initially she said, oh, I thought it was a white lady. And then when they questioned her again, they said, oh, this person was an African-American. She was like, yeah, it possibly could have been an African-American. The jailhouse informant was not making any distinction for herself as to whether this person, the investigator who approached her, was white or black.
Right.
The informant was not caring about that. It did not change her testimony at all. But what Jackie Fulford is trying to intimate here is that when the jailhouse informant first testified, she thought the investigator was African-American. But then when it was pointed out to her that the investigator was white, she changed her story. That never happened.
That didn't happen. No.
Never happened.
And to me, I would hear that and just think, well, she just didn't notice. I mean, she wasn't, like you said, she wasn't even focused on that. You know, it was just, oh, well, could have been, you know?
Yes.
Doesn't mean anything.
Yes. To the jailhouse informant, it did not make a difference whether the investigator that questioned her was white or black. Didn't matter to her.
Right.
She said, like, at first, I thought that she was a white lady. Well, then it turns out she was actually a black lady. Who cares?
Exactly.
That doesn't change my testimony. And Jackie trying to impeach this witness by saying that, well, she thought it was a white person, but then it turned out to be, like, Jackie trying to impeach that is the weakest argument in the entire world, because her testimony did not change based on the race of the person who was asking her the questions.
Oh, man.
It's just a terrible argument on her part.
It is a horrible argument. Absolutely horrible. Good Lord.
Yeah, she obviously thought that would discredit the witness.
Yeah.
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 Which, which is gross. I mean, she's trying to discredit the witness to the jury on the basis that the witness maybe was biased one way or the other on race, which she clearly wasn't. It didn't matter to her.
Yeah.
That's the point. It didn't matter at all to her, and so it shouldn't have been any sort of issue, but she's turning it into an issue that never was.
Exactly.
Oh my good Lord.
Was going to come in and testify falsely for Donna Adelson, and she's never been on a witness list. And then you got Drina Bird.
Again, Drina Bird is another one of the jailhouse informants, which, by the way, these two ladies were the rock stars. I believe that they were the most consequential witnesses in this entire case. I think they're very undersold, underrepresented. I think that they gave the best testimonies, my opinion.
They did. That was very, very, very
This is
strong.
not just someone who is hoping for some help in her case. She already got it. Her testimony was she is a 27-time convicted felon and or crimes involving dishonesty, facing 15 years in the Department of Corrections as a prison releasee reoffender, which means you get day for day with no gain time. Here she comes saying she's got all this evidence, and Donna's offering to do the same things for her that, oddly enough, Patricia Bird in the same cell block has said is going to happen. What does she do? We tried really hard not to bore you by playing the whole tape, but there's an exhibit that we put in, and it's the video of where Donna and Miss Bernhardt are sitting at a table. Oddly enough, Miss Bird wasn't there, and she told you that she was with Donna Adelson day and night talking about her case. She wasn't anywhere around when they're sitting at this table, but you can watch that video again. I would just like you to recall this. Who shows up to that table first? Drina Bernhardt does. Who shows up with paper and a writing instrument? Drina Bernhardt does. And while they're sitting at the table, is Donna sitting there just telling her? No, they're having a conversation. How does the writing start? Miss Bernhardt gets out her little hot pink folder, paper, whatever it's called, notebook, plops it open, shoves it towards Donna Adelson, and starts tapping on it. Let's get busy writing. You don't hear those words, but that's what she's doing. Here, right. And allegedly, she's going to do the same thing, give false testimony, and her name is not on a witness list.
So my problem with all of this is that, yeah, I mean, the jailhouse informant made a point of getting herself on video, which why would you not protect yourself in that way?
Oh, absolutely.
You know, if you're talking to a high profile defendant, why would you not get yourself on video that way? But what we do have from the prosecution is absolutely 100% Donna Adelson's handwriting, proven to be her handwriting, writing out a testimony for this informant to give in the event that she is going to testify. Donna Adelson coercing this person to go and say, I have something to say. Here is, you know, what I'm going to say in defense of Donna Adelson. And I mean, as a juror, obviously, like, I'm biased because I'm sitting out here on the outside,
right?
You know, I'm seeing all kinds of stuff that the jury's not seeing. But as a juror, if I am witnessing this situation where Donna Adelson is writing something out for a jailhouse informant to say, that's pretty incriminating.
Absolutely. This argument that she is making, it is not even coming close to touching anything. Nothing. It's embarrassing. I have secondhand embarrassment for her almost, you know? So bad. Can I just put something up here really quick that Joe Schmo put up, which I think is brilliant? Come on down to the used coffin lot on Saturday and get your last rites for free. Talking about her being a funeral home director. I thought that was hilarious.
And she also, you know, attached to her funeral home is a crematorium
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. It always gives me the heebie-jeebies when somebody owns a crematorium and they also have other shady things in their past.
Mm-hmm.
It just gives me a little bit of pause, because owning a crematorium, there are a lot of things that you can help take care of.
Yeah. Lots of things you can get rid of without any suspicion. True. Not saying that she did, just saying that's a possibility for anybody, but not saying it happened. But damn.
Indeed.
There's more, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, I, as far as the closing statements go, I mean, that's pretty much it. Like, Jackie Fulford really, she was disrespectful to Dan Markel. She called him Danny the entire time. That was incredibly disrespectful to me.
That's very bad.
She also threw her own client under the bus by detailing all of the terrible things that she called Dan Markel.
That's so crazy.
She also basically said that the defense was the only one that painted Dan Markel in a positive light. That was how she started out her closing argument, by basically saying that the prosecution was rude to Dan Markel. The defense, we were the ones that humanized him. We were the ones that said he was a great husband and a great father, which was incredibly tone deaf.
I don't even know how to respond to that, because that's just so not how it came out. That's not what happened, you know?
And, you know, the way that Jackie Fulford began her closing argument was to say that the prosecution was trying to frame this as a bitter custody battle. And that was not the case. It wasn't a bitter custody battle. It was just, you know, a normal divorce. Well, no, it wasn't. And all of the things that Donna Adelson wrote in all of her emails, were, you know, corroborate the idea that this was a bitter custody battle. The only thing that pointed to the fact that it was not bitter was the voicemail that we heard from Dan Markel on the morning before he was killed, where he left a voice memo for Wendi Adelson, where he said, "Hey, let's try to work this out.
Yes.
I know you want to see the kids. I think they want to go swimming. Maybe let's get together. Let's go for a walk. Let's talk about this."
It was a wonderful.
What an incredibly kind offer. What an incredibly kind way to address a disagreement between co-parents. For Dan Markel to say, let's get together. Let's take a walk. Let's talk about this.
Yes.
I can't imagine a world in, you know, where that would have happened between me and my former spouse, or between the former spouse of any, you know, anybody in any divorce situation that I have been party to or witness to. Dan Markel gave an olive branch to Wendi and said, let's talk about this. Let's go for a walk. Let's do what's best for the boys. Let's do the thing that's going to be the most peaceful for them.
Right.
I've never witnessed that in any of the things that I've been involved in, Divorce Wives. And yet, here is Dan Markel offering this to Wendi Adelson. And how does she respond? She says, well, that's not going to work for me. Period.
And yeah. Again, this whole family is just so tone deaf, Megan. I can't believe it. Absolutely tone deaf.
And so then to have the defense attorneys try to portray Dan as somebody who did not want to work things out, to try to portray him as somebody where it was not a bitter custody battle. Well, it wasn't Dan Markel who was making it bitter. It was Wendi. It was Donna.
Exactly.
It was that side of the family that was making it bitter. And to try and deny that and to try and paint it a different way during closing arguments was so incredibly tone deaf and disrespectful that I just...
Well, and that's the reason why they came.
Every second of it.
That's the reason why they came back so quickly, because the jury agreed. They were probably thoroughly disgusted. Joe Tallchief has a question. Did Donna come between Wendi and Dan's marriage? Was she really interfering all the time? basically.
Well, yeah, we have a lot of emails from Donna to Wendi, where Donna was basically trying to tell Wendi how to handle certain things, where Donna was trying to tell Wendi what to do in certain situations. And the bottom line was that Donna wanted Wendi to live in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
And Wendi was stuck, quote unquote, stuck in Tallahassee because that's where Dan's job was. So Donna was constantly trying to get Wendi to say, like, let's move. I don't like it here. I don't want to be here. And Wendi wrote this whole book, which was fictional, but it was about an immigration attorney, which Wendi was an immigration attorney.
Right.
It was about an immigration attorney who did not like being in Tallahassee and wanted to be in Miami. Like, again, it's like the Chad Daybell thing all over again. There's no creativity. There's no ability to separate you from your fiction. And
Right.
so you write about your reality instead because you cannot create anything that's fictional. And so essentially, Wendi was writing about her own situation. She didn't want to be in Tallahassee. She wanted to be in Miami. And Donna was trying to make that happen for her, with her. She was trying to advocate for that the entire time. And that was a huge source of contention for the entire marriage.
There is a good question here from Penguin. And Megan, I know you're not a trained lawyer, but you do play one in my mind. You play a lawyer. So this is a great question. Penguin asks, why are they allowed to play Dan's voicemail, but not Charles Vallow's police body cam? Don't we have the same problem with it not being able to cross-examine him? Well, I think, and Megan, correct me if I'm wrong, with Charles' body cam, he makes a lot of accusations and there was, again, no way to prove those accusations. And this voicemail that Dan made was just a very kind, sweet voicemail. And it was just showing his attitude as compared to the other, Wendi's attitude and Donna's attitude. And so that's the difference, I think. One had a lot of evidence, a lot of suggestive evidence, and this one, just a nice guy.
I apologize because I don't remember the exact circumstances under which they brought in this voicemail. As I recall, it was Wendi on the stand, and they brought in this voicemail that Wendi left for Dan, and Wendi was able to testify that, yes, I made this call, and yes, I left this voicemail. I could be wrong about that. Again, I'm not an attorney. And also, it's been a long time since I watched the case, watched the trial footage. What I remember is that if Wendi is on the stand and she's the one who left the voicemail, she can testify, yes, I called this number, I left this voicemail. The difference in my estimation is that Charles being on the body cam footage, they would have had to bring the officers that were there to record that body cam footage to say, yes, I remember talking to this, this witness. This is what they said. Yes, this body cam footage is my body cam footage. It has to be somebody who is a witness to what is being said. Gotcha. I don't know. Okay. I mean, there are a lot of rules of evidence that I don't know. I don't understand because I'm not an attorney. But I believe that it has to be somebody who is party to the conversation when it's taking place. So I believe that's how they got it in, because Wendi, I believe, testified that, yes, I received this voicemail from Dan, and this is how I responded. I could be wrong about that. I wish that I had the time to go back and review it right now to say, again, I don't remember exactly, but there are rules of evidence about how things can come in. I really do wish that Charles's body cam footage could have come in.
Me too.
Where he was talking to those officers about what, Lori was saying to him and about, his own fears and all that. However, all of that being said, Lori was convicted anyway.
Right.
They were able to believe that Charles was fearful for his life and that, he really did believe that Lori was saying all these crazy things about him. I mean, again, I'm not an attorney, I'm not a prosecutor, but I know that the prosecutors have certain rules they have to abide by as far as what they bring into evidence and how they bring it in. It has to be somebody that is party to that conversation, from what I understand, in order for them to bring it into the court record.
Right. And that all of that makes perfect sense. Well, I'll tell you what, why don't we play the rebuttal? Because this is one of those rebuttals that makes you, like in Charles' case, that makes you just go, yay, because it's so good. So good. I do have it right here. Hang on. Stacy is texting me. I think Charles is sucking her through the portal again.
Oh, no.
Hold on one second. Oh, that's right.
Chad.
Because
you said
that's
Charles.
right.
I keep getting static. Sorry.
Charles, it was Chad.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Chad.
It was Chad. Sorry. That's right, Stacy. They wouldn't play anything because he brought up the children. That was it. That was one of the reasons.
Oh, okay.
The
That's
jury
right.
wasn't supposed to know about the kids, and so there were a few things they wouldn't let in Lori's case because it would be prejudicial to her.
Right, to Lori.
Yeah.
Because to say the kids were dead.
Yeah, and I appreciated so much that Judge Boreski protected her rights vehemently because he wanted to make sure there would not be any issues for appeal. And I appreciated that so much.
Yeah.
I got to apologize. I meant to say Chad, everybody. Whoops. So my apologies. My apologies.
Are you talking about Judge Boyce?
Yes, now we're talking about Judge Boyce and Lori's case, why they didn't let Charles's body cam come in.
I was talking about
Bresky.
Yeah, Bresky in the Arizona case. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
okay. Now, okay.
When she was her own, when she was her own lawyer.
When she was her own attorney.
As Megan said, she was the dumbest defendant in the world. She didn't even know, that would be prejudicial to her, probably.
Dumbest defendant and dumbest defense attorney ever. Ever.
It was a case where the world's dumbest defendant and the world's dumbest defense attorney had to confer with each other.
They did. Yep.
And the result
so
was stupidity.
So perfect. So perfect. Okay, now let's go back to Adelson. This is the rebuttal, and you have to wonder about this prosecutor. After listening to Jackie Fulford, she probably just might be going, I don't think I'll ever get another chance like this ever again. She must have just been shaking her head going, dear Lord, what universe am I in? I mean,
I love Georgia Kappelman. I have to say, I think she's amazing. She does such a great job in so many ways. And I think if I were the prosecutor in this case, I would have been just sitting back there relishing my chance to get up and rebut what was said by Jackie Fulford. Yeah.
And I take it this is it that you have up here?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Unless we can listen to the whole thing, no matter how long it is, because I've got to hear it again. It's so good.
Yeah. Yeah.
And stop it whenever you want, okay, Megan?
Yeah. And I love that she's wearing red. Mm-hmm. She looks amazing. And yes, we have to give a shout out to Sarah Dugan, who was the assistant prosecutor. She did an amazing job.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, tired of hearing lawyers talk yet? Down for another hour or two? Yeah. I think I've got 7 minutes. He hasn't started the timer yet. Okay. It does not matter what Miss Fulford thinks, if she's right, if she's wrong, if I'm right, if I'm wrong. What the lawyers say is not evidence. You have the evidence before you. They say it means one thing. I say it means something else. Only you guys decide, right? I think outside your house means outside your house. But apparently outside your house means something else. I think a very contentious divorce means a very contentious divorce. They think it means an amicable divorce. You guys decide, right? Look at the evidence and you guys decide. Is everything not what it seems and actually something else? You guys decide. A TV repair appointment is not an alibi because she could have changed it to earlier, but she didn't change it to earlier. That's where she was when he was getting killed. That's an alibi. this TV, that doesn't mean, that's not code, that's a hint. Hint for what? It's code. What does it involve? The two of us. Oh, well, that actually means it doesn't involve the two of us because we're being extorted, we're victims, it doesn't involve us. So what does it involve? The two of us actually means it does not involve the two of us. That's what we've heard. A one-way non-extradition ticket to Vietnam? It's not fleeing. It's a setup. How did I set her up? I didn't make her do that. I didn't get her a fast-track visa. I didn't get her a one-way ticket. She did that. She made those choices. Wendi didn't bother to tell her mom she was ready to give up on the relocation. Yes, she did. Look in the emails. She was giving up and Donna wasn't having it. That's when she gets the totally unhinged email from her mother suggesting, you're not going to give up. You want to move on with a sense of peace? Hell no, we're going to fight this guy. We're going to dress your kids up as Nazis. That's what happened when when Wendi suggested giving up. Never, never, never give up, right? This murder charge is not based on the fact that she said some bad words. I mean, I'd be facing murder just in this courtroom. Obviously, people. That is not what this case is about. You've got to look at all the evidence. I mean, it is death by 1,000 cuts. It is powdered sugar. You've got to look at the whole thing and make a decision. And I'm sorry that there's not a smoking gun, but she was too smart for that. She thought about it. She planned it. She made sure we could never get her, right? She took precautions, but she did make mistakes. And that's what all those exhibits are. Mistakes. My spin and the spin I'm putting on all the evidence, that's not, it doesn't matter what my spin is. It's your spin. You look at the evidence, you decide. I tell you what I think it shows. They tell you what they think it shows. Here's the other side. What do they think it shows? They don't have to prove anything. I have to prove the case. Yes. But what are they saying?
This was brilliant.
Oh, no. Charlie, definitely. Wendi, maybe. Not Donna. But also, not Charlie. We were getting extorted. Not Charlie. I mean, you can't have it both ways, right? So it's hard to get your head around it, but we can't be getting extorted by the killers who killed Dan Markel on their own. And also, Charlie's pretty guilty and Wendi looks a little guilty too. It's got it like, there's no lane that's been picked. And they don't have to prove anything, but they're throwing all that out, right? And it's like, you were getting extorted, or Charlie and Wendi did it behind your back and they don't tell mom what they're doing. Can't charge Donna because Charlie already went down for this. No, that's not true. Everyone that's responsible for this murder should be held accountable for their role, not just Charlie, not just the two killers that came here and shot him. Everyone that played a part in it should be held accountable. They said some things in their closing that doesn't comport with my recollection of the evidence. For example, Corbett said that the defendant did not send the evite. My recollection is the complete opposite. You guys took notes, you have remembrances, you guys rely on your own memory. I don't want to go through every single thing, but there were a few of those. The only complaint from a 3- and 4-year-old was, Grandma says you're stupid. Oh, that's dumb. Well, no, I remember that the kid also said, Grandma hates you. Rob has an axe to grind. Mary Hull said that the Adelson Institute was Charlie's until 2022. Not my recollection, but hopefully you remember that it changed hands in 2015. No SunPass records. Do you need SunPass records to know that Donna Adelson was outside Charlie's house on the night of the murder? We didn't know that. Catherine Magbanua told us when I got to Charlie's, he told me his parents had just come, right? And brought the money. But when we looked in the records, there's a text outside your house corroborating what she said. That's important. She was outside his house. Oh, well, she had the garage code. Why didn't she go in? I don't know if she went in. Maybe she did. She told him, I'm outside your house. He said 10 minutes. It's going to be there in 10 minutes. Maybe she did go in. I don't know. But she was there. That I do know. I don't know why she's denying that. Grandma motion. We disagree with what the words say. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I say the words say, I don't want the kids around grandma because she's disparaging me. Somebody needs to be there to monitor. They say, no, that's not what it means. It means something else. Charlie's extortion story. She wrote the checks because she had to save her son's life. Well, right. So if that's the case, we're picking lane 2 here, down below. And that's where all that evidence comes up about that pushes back on that. Like that couldn't happen. They're not going to be spitballing the drug dealer defense years after they've been extorted. Like that didn't happen. That was a lie, right? That Charlie came up with in his testimony, and that she then kind of got stuck with after saying all the truth is out, truth is out, truth is out. Plus she's got to come up with something for writing those checks. She paid for the murder.
So there's an objection here from the defense. They have to go back to a sidebar, so I'll just
fast forward.
Try to fast forward a little bit. I think we're almost done, guys. Sorry, this is from my live stream, so my commentary.
Sanford said he never made a mistake. Not my recollection. What's the pushback on extortion? Her behavior on the wire. She doesn't say, oh my gosh, it's happening again. She doesn't say anything about the prior extortion. If the prior extortion had occurred, she would immediately tell him it's happening again, or some reference to the fact that this is something that's been ongoing. She doesn't do that. Instead, she talks in code. It's a TV. What the heck? Why are you talking in code? Her Googling extortion versus blackmail 7 days before Charlie's trial. That wouldn't happen if the extortion was real. She wasn't extorted. Charlie didn't tell her there was an extortion because there never was an extortion. She was paying for a murder. She knew it was going to be a murder. She's the one that wanted it done. Her discussion of Charlie's lawyers meeting with Garcia's lawyers. What? If she was being extorted by Garcia and Charlie was being extorted and his life being threatened by Garcia, their lawyers aren't going to be meeting up. Look at those text messages. She said, bring cash. They say, oh, that's not code. She said, bring cash. She literally said, bring cash for dinner on that call. It's not a hint. It's a code word. They say the bump failed. I say the bump succeeded. She said it involved the two of us. That was before we got made, before that Matt Surrey operation where they literally see the camera in the bag and know the camera's in the bag. Yeah, she called and put on a great show when she called the undercover. But what did she say in the first call, the second call, and the third call before we got made, before she knew it was law enforcement? She said it involves the two of us, both of us. To these, okay, I want to hit one more thing. Don't call time on me. 2 years after the murder, We've got 2 emails, 64T and 64I. The defense told you in opening that this defendant cares about others more than she cares about herself. The problem is that she decides what other people need, what's necessary for other people in their lives, and she is willing to justify whatever ends she thinks are needed, right? Any means to get to those ends are justified in her mind. The problem is she doesn't care about the collateral damage to get to her ends. Evidence has shown that this defendant, I think, did believe that Wendi and those boys were better off in South Florida. She thought that's what they needed. They would be better off with her. And she was angry that that couldn't happen. Dan Markel is the thing standing in the way. What was the cost of that to not only Dan Markel, but to those little boys? Those little boys lost their father. Look what she says in 64T. Children are 2 and 3. Children do not even have a memory of life before age 5 or 6. Look what she says in 64II when Wendi is concerned. This is 2 years after the murder. Her child is having trouble at school, crying because he misses his father. And this woman, this nice grandmother, innocent woman, says, quote, "I still do not believe that Ben is sad about his father." Quotations on the sad. 64II. "I still do not believe that Ben is sad about his father. I spend a minimum of 25 hours a week with him, and oftentimes more than that, including weekend times and sleepover days, and have never experienced a time when he was sad. I think it's just another phase of the many, many phases that kids go through. The problem is they have a highly intelligent and sensitive mom. She doesn't believe that this kid is sad because she can't take accountability for her own actions and the catastrophic consequences that this had on everyone's life in her family. Not just her son, not just her daughter, not just Rob, not just Dan Markel, but those boys who lost their father. It wasn't better for them to be in South Florida. It was better for them to have their father. You must not base your verdict on the feelings of sympathy, prejudice, bias. Your verdict must be based on the evidence and the law. Yes, she's a grandmother. Most murderers don't look like that. But the evidence has revealed what she is. Please don't let her appearance influence your verdict in any way. It involves the two of us. What about the script? They didn't even talk about the script. She wrote a script for a witness that was perjured testimony about, based on a lie, an extortion lie that's been proven in court to you to be false. This defendant tried to erase Dan Markel, thinking there would be no harm to those little boys. They don't have a memory of their father. They feel the absence of their father. This defendant decided they didn't need their dad. She doesn't get to decide that. She wanted it done. She brought the money. She stroked the check. She didn't have to do that. Charlie was a signatory, had signing power on that account. He could have written the checks. She wrote the checks. Why? Because she was neck deep in this thing. She wrote the checks. She said it involved the two of us. She wrote that script. May you have the strength and the common sense to see this evidence for what it is. It's only one thing. There's only one truth. It can't all be right. It's only one truth. Render a verdict that does justice. Find her guilty. Thank you.
Oh, I just wanted to stand up and give
share.
her a standing ovation.
Well, she just brought out all the logical things that everybody was thinking. And again, you know, Donna and Wendi and the whole family, other than the one son that was able to escape, they're just idiots who think they can get away with it.
They are entitled.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yes, they feel entitled to their version of reality. They're an enmeshed family where, here's something that I think is really, really interesting. I think Wendi was the one that manipulated Donna at the beginning.
You do? Okay.
Yes, I think that Wendi said to Donna, "Oh, Dan is this, Dan is that. I can't stand this, I can't stand that." Donna got on board with that. And then she started trying to manipulate the divorce proceedings, the custody arrangements, all of those things. And I think that what it comes down to in the end is that Wendi was actually the one who manipulated Donna into manipulating Charlie. And Charlie, went and did his thing because he, as the older brother, I've got to take care of, let me, my sister, blah, blah, blah. I think it all comes down to Wendi. I really do.
You're probably right. And a lot of people in chat have been asking, is Wendi next? That's what everybody's waiting on.
I hope she is. And, the prosecutor, Georgia Kappelman, of course, she can't reveal too much, but when, press was asking her that very question after the verdict was read, and she said, basically, stay tuned. I think there's good evidence, despite the fact that, Wendi got limited use immunity, which means that anything she testified to in the court, she testified in all of the other cases. But there was a very limited scope to what she testified to. And so any of those things that she said on the stand can't be used against her. But I think there's enough other evidence that she could possibly be convicted. And I think that's what everyone is waiting for, is please let's get Wendi, because I think she was honestly the mastermind behind the whole thing. I think she kind of kept her distance from the standpoint where she has plausible deniability about a lot of things. She didn't say a lot in text or emails that we've seen revealed so far, but there could be more to come on that as well. There
could be. And again, it's so tragic because those two boys, they went through hell, and they were put through hell by Wendi and Donna and that side of the family, not by their father. And I'm sure they'll always realize that. So are you going to be live streaming the sentencing on Monday?
Yes, I will live stream the sentencing. I just want to play real quick Donna's reaction to the verdict.
Please. Yeah, we got to watch that. That's
it's
icing on the cake.
It is iconic. You just have to see her reaction.
I
mean, she's supposed to have some decorum. The judge warned her in advance, to please not have. He warned the entire courtroom to not have any outbursts, as most judges do during these things. But here's what actually happened.
As follows, as the count 1 of the indictment, first-degree murder. The defendant is guilty of first-degree murder. Mrs. Adelson, control yourself.
So dramatic.
Count 2, we the jury find as follows, as the count 2 of the indictment, conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. The defendant is guilty of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. Count 3, we the jury find as follows, as the count 3 of the indictment, solicitation to commit first-degree murder. The defendant is guilty of solicitation to commit first-degree murder. And it is signed and dated by the foreperson.
No tears.
One moment. Members of the jury, the bailiff will escort you to the jury room.
Exactly. So important to note, like this huge reaction, but no tears, no actual tears.
Right. Nothing.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Oh, and the shaking of the shoulders. Yeah.
How dare they?
I was expecting her to say, I've got the vapors. Oh no. I mean,
this was not the outcome I'm sure that you desired. There will not be any further outbursts in front of the jury.
Good for the judge.
If you cannot control yourself, I am going to have to determine if you'll be removed from the remainder of this process. Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
Yes.
Do you need a moment to collect yourself?
But there's no tears. Oh my God. I mean,
back in, we will take a
she's not sad. She's mad.
Please.
Yes. There you go.
When the jurors are brought back into the room, does the defense wish to have the jurors polled before they are discharged?
Yes, Your Honor.
Very well.
I mean, she cannot control herself, but also, like, let's just note, like, she's having this supposedly emotional reaction with 0 tears whatsoever. You know, all of the markers of the physical reaction to, you know, being upset about what's going on, but without the actual, there's no reddening of the face, there's no flaring of the nostrils, there's no. Hey guys, while they're on this 2-minute break, I'm furiously trying to, I don't want to listen to myself.
That's okay. Stereo Megan, we love it. But yeah, there's nothing to indicate that this is a legitimate crying jag that she's trying to make it look like.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And Lin Jen, too, you're right. I think she's just mad, but she's trying to make it look like she's crying. And you have to wonder how many times has she, you know, behaved in a ridiculous way, but it worked for her because nobody wanted to cross her.
No, exactly. And I think thank you, Tricia, for saying that, because that is the most important point. How many times have you noted somebody in your own life who has had some kind of reaction like this, but there was no emotion behind it? It was really just a manipulation to either get you to feel sorry for them, or to get you to react in a certain way, or to get you to apologize and say, oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to upset you. And meanwhile, she's over here, oh my God, I can't believe that. I can't believe you would do such a thing. And meanwhile, everyone else around her is going, oh, I'm so sorry. You know, this must be terrible for you.
Patting her on
all
the
of
back.
those things. But she doesn't actually feel this way. I think she knew it was going to be a guilty verdict, especially with the jury coming back so soon as they did. She was preparing herself to have this outburst in court because I think in her mind, it makes her seem more innocent if she reacts this way rather than if she's just stoic.
Yeah, absolutely. This is all for show to try and get people to change their mind about her and to change the narrative. And it's just not going to work. And I think she's stunned. I think the whole family is stunned that it's not working. I believe she really thought she was going home.
I do think that there is a genuine level of shock and surprise, where it's like, oh, I don't really believe, I never thought that I was going to be found guilty. I think there is a genuine, a genuine reaction of that, of where it's like, really, I never thought that I was going to be found guilty for this. But there's no ability to connect to that emotionally because it's just anger. It's anger. It's defiance. It's incredulity.
Yes.
I can't believe that they would possibly, like, how would they find me guilty? I was completely innocent of this.
I never did
there's
anything.
There's no real grief. There's no real sorrow. There's no real sadness, because it's really just anger over the fact that, like, how dare you find me guilty when I'm clearly innocent of this thing?
Exactly.
There's no grief for the victims.
No.
There's no sadness for the actual death. It's basically just, I wasn't there. I didn't pull the trigger. I didn't even talk to the person who actually did it. So I'm so far removed from this that it couldn't possibly be my fault. I think it's how Chad Daybell feels.
It's the same thing. Chad, from what we understand, Chad was absolutely just stunned that, number one, he was arrested, and number two, he was found guilty, and number three, he got the death penalty. Because somehow in his mind, he had twisted all the facts and the story around to where he wasn't guilty. And I think it's the same thing with Donna. Well, we can look forward to her sentencing on Monday. I'm sure she'll have more dramatics for us. And I am so looking forward to you live streaming it. I can't wait to see it, because it is, again, we're certainly not making fun of the fact that this is a very serious case. What we're doing is pointing out the ridiculousness of the defendant and how just obscene this is, the way she behaves and the way they've all behaved. It's disgusting. Yeah. And I think the best way, the healthiest way to deal with it is just to make fun of them, just tear them apart. They're not getting to anybody. They're just not that they watch me or you or anything, but it just feels so good just to be able to say, look at these idiots. I love it.
If we can't laugh, we're going to cry. And I just want to say, once again, today would have been Dan Markel's birthday. Yes. And happy birthday to Dan Markel. And, so and good wishes and thoughts to all of the people who love and care about Dan Markel, because, that's what this is all about. And honestly, this is one of those cases where, it's been a super, super long time. He was killed in 2014. Mm-hmm. And so far there have been 5 convictions. That to me is stunning.
It's a lot.
That just come this far. I'm grateful for that. I'm so grateful for that. I hope we have 2 more convictions, honestly.
I'd love to see Wendi and the dad.
Yep. And I think it is absolutely worth every penny of taxpayer money that we have to pay to get those convictions. Because, this was Dan Markel against an unstoppable enmeshed family system who was going to do whatever it took to get whatever they wanted. A family system who felt they were so entitled that they could do this and get away with it. And I can't say enough about, just the idea of pursuing justice to the very end of the road.
And that's what it needs to be, to the very end, to everybody that was involved. Megan Connor, do you know what time the sentencing is on Monday?
The sentencing is 3 p.m. Eastern time, so 2 p.m. Central. I'll be live streaming it on my channel, and you can bet I will have commentary afterwards, because I always have a lot to say about these things.
I'm going to be watching, I'm sure, with everybody else. Megan, thank you so much. I needed this. Again, I'm being selfish, talking about me, but I needed this tonight. It was such a great relief. So thank you very, very much, my dear.
Of course. I will just say, those of us who follow these kinds of cases, we care about justice for the victims. Mm-hmm. And I think that the reason why these cases resonate with us so much and the reason we follow them is because we all find an element of our own lives somewhere in some aspect of this. And I think that pursuing justice for the victims in a way is some modicum of finding justice for ourselves in the relationships where we feel disrespected by people who are entitled, who are narcissistic. And I think it's important for each of us to find the reasons why these cases resonate with us and to go dig into those dynamics in our own lives and say, hey, where am I experiencing this in my own life? And how can I protect myself? How can I make sure that I get the justice that I deserve for the ways in which I've been disrespected, for the ways in which I've been gaslighted, whatever it is. We all have somebody in our lives who tries to implement these tactics the same way that the Adelsons did this to Dan Markel. And so I think that's one of the reasons why we follow these cases, why we care about them, is because we all know people like this, and we want justice for ourselves as well as we care about these people who have been so horrifically wronged.
Absolutely. And we will end it on that, my dear. Megan Connor, we'll see you Monday afternoon as we watch Donna get sentenced, and I'm sure more theatrics, but even better, more commentary from Megan Connor. Thank you, my dear. We'll be in touch very soon, okay?
Yeah, take care.
You too now. Bye-bye. Oh, you know what, Lynn Jen, too, I so needed that today. Again, I'm being very selfish, but I needed a release to just let loose on some jerk like that. I'm sure you know the feeling.
Yeah, we do. We all do. And the thing that gets me is the way they do it. They source it out, quote unquote, as if it was something you would hand an office secretary, go take care of this, and expect to have none of it fall back on them. And they got her, and that's good. Just like they got Chad and everybody involved in that. It's good to actually see something good come out of something so horrendous.
Absolutely. And I just want to say a special hi to my cousin. I love her. Teresa Cook says, great show tonight. Thanks, Megan. We love you, cuz. Thank you for staying up with us tonight. And I know Ping has a show. It may even be started now. So everybody, please check out Nights with Ping. He's great. He's our buddy across the pond over there in Australia. And Lynn Gentoo, thanks for jumping in and filling in. We greatly appreciate it. And don't forget to check out Websleuths.com, the very best true crime discussion forum ever, ever, ever. And you guys will be back tomorrow night, okay? 10:30 Eastern on Websleuths YouTube Live. We'll see you then, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.